everybody! I'm just gonna do it. And welcome to
That's in.
the throes of the after show, coming at you with the second episode. Last time, we were meeting all of these lovely players and GM over here, getting to know them a little bit better. Now that we have some episodes out and you guys know more about us as players, especially up through Arc 2, and our characters, we're going to be talking more about that aspect of it. I wanted to jump right in, putting Michaela on the spot. I think I might have done this last time too. I think I put you on the spot last time too. But the reason I wanted to put you on the spot is because as a newer player, you took a bunch of the brunt of our story in the beginning. A lot of it was on your shoulders because we were in an area that most of us didn't know well, didn't live in, and had never really been to up until that point. How did you feel when it was put on you, not in like a bad way, but put on you to be the one guiding us, to know many of the characters that we were meeting as NPCs?
Yeah, it was crazy. It was exciting though, from that very at the end of the first episode, I think it was when I got the letter when we were sitting in the invitation to the Meira's party to Hawthorne's Manor? I forget. But yeah. that. I'm still got there now. It was a while ago. But when it was like, oh, and I think I rolled high enough to see who it was from the backstory. And yeah, I mean, firstly in that moment, just to realize that, oh, like things that I wrote in my backstory are actually going into the story and that's happening. Like that was really, really neat to experience right at the beginning. It definitely was a little bit nerve-wracking though, knowing that there were certain things that I, felt like I had to know, being literally in the know about magic, about, because I had a Cirque du Cosmos tent there, because I'd been to a couple different regions, both Malika and Sylvesix. So I definitely put myself in a situation of like, Alice knows a lot about those regions.
I thought you handled it so well, because being a player at the table, I knew that the two of you are very new to D&D, and when it started revolving around you, I was looking over at Austin. I'm not trying to bring you down or anything. I was looking over at Austin like, what are you doing, sir? You gotta pass it off to somebody who's been in the position. But he knew what he was doing, and you knew what you were doing. And it was awesome to be able to sit back almost as someone who has played a little bit more, and just watch you jump in. It put me at ease. I don't know how you guys felt. It put me at ease to know everyone here is ready to go. Everyone here knows what they're doing. And if they don't have it right on the tip of their tongue, you're still just going to figure it out. It was really nice.
Thanks. I mean, and Austin's also really great too, in that if we don't know something, it's like, we're like, okay, like, do we, and actually being comfortable enough to be like, okay, is this something that my character would know? And that you are also, like, will jump in and say like, oh, you would know that, blah, 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 blah. So I never felt like I was alone in this position and stuff. So, yeah, that was so fun. Was there, in that vein, in those first two arcs, if you can remember back to it, was there a moment where something came up and you knew that your character would know, so you just went for coming up with something on the spot, and now that is an indelible part of your character? That's a really good question. I'm trying to think if there was. I'm sure there was. It was a while ago. Sure there was.
About a year.
People on the spot.
Sure.
So
I've got one.
You do?
Yeah.
Please.
It was your dynamic and relationship with the people from the Cirque du Cosmos, like how you became friends with Taugen, like, and so like you without having us really talk about it, other than I knew who each person was, I just gave you their personality, and that was the first time you had seen them, and you just established, yep, me and Taugen, we are work friends. But me and the other one's like, it's not super close to each other. But I think that you established that dynamics and played with that off the dome.
Yeah, that's a good example, I guess. And it was neat too to see that, because it was only like one sentence or whatever that I wrote about these characters, the fact that you took them and brought them to life was so cool. And just to see these people that kind of were very one-dimensional in my head, and then you bring life to them And yeah, you're like so good at that too. So that was, that was fun.
See, at the table with you, I had no idea that there wasn't more information that you two had talked about or that you had put in your backstory, particularly about Taugen, about the other people at the Cirque du Cosmos. So that's cool to hear from my perspective. I thought that was already fleshed out. It's not something that you came up with on the spot. And I wanted to make a little bit of this beginning of this interview process, as you're going to see with more questions, about the introduction to a game. Everybody should be doing session zeros. I'm a big proponent of everyone should be doing session zeros, but then there's a little bit of nervous energy when you start up a campaign. So I wanted to jump over to John real quick. Not saying he had a bunch of nervous energy. But there was a great moment in Arc 1 where we got to go and see a church that was of Destinus. And you got to meet with a character, Weaver Saint, I believe their name was. Did that help you in any way ground yourself? We hadn't really done much about our backstories to that point, but meeting somebody who was of your ilk, I know that you're trying to grapple with religion or anything like that with your character. So was meeting Weaver Saint a grounding moment for you?
Yeah, I think it set a baseline for like what I could expect going into like different religious spaces within the world, because we had talked about essentially the religion that I created within this, right, between the two of us, but we hadn't really seen how that would come into play when it interacted with other religions, or like, because it's a subsect of Destinus, which is one of the major deities, like how do they interact and stuff. And so I was more curious than anything, like excited, and like it really set a baseline for like, okay, now I get to like float around in this world, and like now I'm in this church and, you know, interacting. And then it kind of fleshed out different ideas that I had been like percolating on. And then, so. As
much as you're willing to tell, you don't have to say anything too crazy. With this subsect that you're talking about, it's Lunar, right?
Yeah, Lunar Soul.
Lunar Soul. Is that more akin to a patron saint under Destinus? Or if it's a subsect of that religion, you don't have to get too deep into it, by the way. Mm-hmm. But would it be like looking to Meira, or would it be like looking to a specific...
Ooh, I hadn't thought about that. Just like the example of...
Yeah, like in Catholicism, God, you have those...
That's interesting. I mean, essentially, yes. Like, if you were to look at Catholicism, like, through a very generic lens, you could say, like, Lunar Soul is essentially, like a Virgin Mary type figure, within the religion. It's like, of the major deities, this is just one way of following this deity, I guess. It's like, you know, probably a collection of stories passed down to explain the phenomena that surrounds this deity, and then it became a more structured sect. I don't want to say anything else.
Definitely don't have to, because I don't think that we have, speaking from the future to an extent, I don't think that we have been let on too much about the specifics of your religion. So I definitely don't want to jump too deep into things that we don't know about yet, or that John hasn't given us at this moment. But there are cool times, especially with a GM like Austin, and all of you guys probably have awesome GMs yourself, having a character come in, an NPC, that can help you speak out what your character's thoughts are, their motivations, being able to meet somebody that not is directly from your backstory. They can be from your backstory, but that's so nice. It's like a gift to you to be able to have a moment of taking the reins. One thing that you do so great, Austin, is you give each of us a moment, which I think is super necessary in terms of people will switch off and on who's the main character many times in an episode or a session. And one of my favorite things that you have done is, especially in Arc 1, used a bunch of interactive games. We had a horse race with a bunch of different interactive bits. Is that something that you've always done? Is that something you saw somebody else do?
So I wouldn't say always done, only for the fact that this is the first major campaign I've run. I've done one-shots in smaller series like that, but to run a whole world and game, this was kind of a new thing for me. But I've always appreciated it as a player for my friends at home. Shout out to Sebastian and Evan. Those are my home DMs, and my dad, of course. They always had, one of my favorite moments was always whenever there would be an event that wasn't necessarily high stakes, but it gave the characters an opportunity to show their personality and to give them a moment to really shine in their own aspect. It's something that doesn't need to have a major plot point. I wanted to integrate that, and so especially in Arc 1 with the Summit Stadium games and with the challenge that are all around that, it was both a way to have fun, levity moments in episodes that had some serious drama. Episode 4 in particular had some serious drama, but also it gave you the chance to figure out how do your characters approach problems. Physical problems are going to be different than mental problems, going to be different than magic problems. So having all of these different challenges and these varieties, especially in the early part, allows you to really kind of get your hands dirty of like, all right, we're in the thick of it now. What would I do as my character when thrown this situation? Because then we start seeing recurring habits between your characters. Drayden, you're someone who always goes up and tries to talk with the people. Zalaria's always trying to find coffee no matter where she goes, whether it's a challenge or a city or the environment, no matter what. So you get these little recurring character bits from those challenges that I think laid the groundwork for future episodes.
And for everybody who follows us on social media, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube.
All down below, I'm sure.
And if you haven't already followed and want to get more information about Austin in particular, bringing in things that have happened to him in his old games with his dad, how many of those moments do you bring in? Not necessarily just to like take something, but to incorporate one thing that was really amazing to you. I know with our eating at the manor, that is from, I forget what...
Castle Amber, an advanced Dungeons & Dragons module, Castle Amber. I don't like to view it as me just ripping it and be like, all right, toss this in here. You're right, it's a way for me to kind of relive the moment, but also see it through new eyes. And with Dungeons & Dragons, the reason why modules like Curse of Strahd are so popular, I think, is because it can be the same module, but depending on the group dynamic and who approaches it, it's going to change and the stories change. You're on the set guided path, but that does not mean everyone's going to follow each step the same way. And so, I like to integrate moments from my past, but especially recently, I think, again, this is the future, but you start seeing things that are totally new, I've never experienced before in certain cities, and how sandboxy things are. That's been one of the approaches I've taken on the most, I think, especially once you get to Arc 3 and Arc 4. The sandbox element is a thing that I just love in games. And so I was like, you know what? This is something I think I'm good at handling, and I think would be really fun for this environment. So let me start incorporating this.
So with handling differences in players and how they approach things like that, if you had to think of one moment in those first 2 arcs that took you by surprise, I know there's a lot that probably took you by surprise.
Yeah.
But if there's one, maybe 2 moments that you just were not expecting from us as players.
I think it would be the Wish. The Wish was the most surprising thing because I believe it was episode 6. I think episode 6 or episode 7. After touching the calves, Zalaria, there was a magic storm that started spreading out all across the Mystic Mesa, and Zalaria got a wish, and that was not planned. And in between the break, I was like, it's the fact that it happened to our newest player too was what made it so funny.
Speaking of the wish, I did want to talk to Hannah a little bit about that in particular. So, like Austin just said, newest player at the table. You did a percentile die, right?
Yeah, there was I think 1 in 50 chance. Every number had every option had a 2-number range. So a 1 in 50 chance that wish was rolled. And then then it was a 1 out of 4 chance of who got the wish.
So getting something like wish, and then everyone telling you, or Austin in particular, telling you what that means, how important that is. And then we have a week. It was right at the end of one of our episodes. So you have a week to try to figure out what your wish is. What was going through your head on what do I choose? Do I go in character? Do I make sure it's something good for the team? Like, what all was happening to you in that moment for that week?
Oh my gosh. It was actually so hard to choose a wish Because there's a side of me that I'm like, okay, I need to stay true to my character, but also there's a side of me as a person that I'm like, I can't let the group down and wish for something crappy. Because Ilaria realistically would probably, have wished for like a never-ending supply of coffee. A magical cup that refills whenever she drinks it. Something silly like that. But at the same time, I'm like, no, I just don't want to like waste this because it's such a cool opportunity and I don't know if I'm ever going to get this chance again. So I was like, okay, what's something useful, but also like realistic? And I was like, well, she's a druid and we have been traveling a lot. So I was like, horses make sense to me. So kind of went with horses instead of coffee.
And that, talking about not expecting exactly what's going on, those horses were super specific. What is everybody's ideas on the horse you got?
Oh my gosh.
Because I know, Michaela, you have a horse that does not speak.
Horse that doesn't speak. He just stares and looks a little scary. But you know what? He's great. I think it's funny too because because I have the horse and then I also have this little elemental thing that neither of them speak. I think you only saw him once in the whole entirety, or twice in the entirety of the arcs 1 and 2. But neither of them speak, and that's just the hand I was dealt, I guess, because it was random.
Yep.
So
Yeah. And they're omnipresent almost at this point in the story. It's like they are horses of Ethereum. They just can come and go at however they please.
You got them out of Wish. One of
They're magical horses.
You don't know if they don't die.
They don't eat and stuff, right?
They don't necessarily. Yeah, they don't have to eat, but you don't know if they die or anything. But I was like, look, you used a wish spell for magic horses. These are going to be powerful creatures.
I was gonna say feeding them is like, well, you won't see us go to the restroom all the time.
Yeah.
yeah.
But your horse is extremely outgoing.
Oh, she's so sweet. Her name is Debbie. That's a very, very deep SpongeBob joke in there. But her name is Debbie. Did nobody ever make that connection?
No, I didn't know.
No.
Bob joke.
Do I need to explain it? Okay. So that SpongeBob, the episode where SpongeBob, finds a seahorse. He's like, what should I name her? And he goes with mystery, but he's like, I should have named her Debbie. So it's such a deep SpongeBob joke.
So her name is what SpongeBob thought he should have named something that he
Yes.
didn't name it?
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
amazing.
I know. Thank you.
That's amazing.
I'm proud.
Thank you.
Somebody out there, it was so hyper specific
I
that
hope
it
someone
hit
got
them and they liked the video for it.
Thank you. Thank
Oh,
you.
like and
That
subscribe.
was
guys.
You comment down below. But no, Debbie's so sweet, and I think it's really funny because my character's really outgoing, so I feel like Debbie's kind of like a reflection of her, and so now they're best friends,
Yeah. And then, John, how is your horse?
He's cool, I think. I don't know if he likes me. What's his name again? Strider. Okay.
There's damn.
Let's say what?
I don't remember naming him.
You didn't. He gave me his name.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I was gonna say Strider, but wait, I just wasn't sure. I don't know. He's I feel like he's indifferent towards me. Maybe I haven't
He's
taken the
said some
time.
things.
You also noted she's the only one who can actually.
I'm the only one who knows what everyone. Your horse does not talk to me either.
No.
Horse is just silent, stoic.
And Austin, you had to come up with, because you didn't know that we were going to be getting magical horses.
Didn't know.
So you had to, my horse is Ashley and she's
Shout
adorable.
out to Ash. Shout out to Ash.
You said Ashley. Full on Ashley.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that
Because she's the color of ashes. She's gray.
Great.
wait? Is it Ashley or just Ash?
Ashley.
Ashley's her full name.
Mhm.
Okay, I support it.
I
I
just,
support it.
one of
You
my
got
I've been
Debbie,
calling
you
it
got
Ash.
Ashley.
one of my old roommates had a cat that they saw someone throw the cat out of their car window at a Home Depot.
Oh my gosh.
And it was fully gray of ashes. And that cat's name was Ashley. And it was really, really mean to me. And it used to cut up my calves and my Achilles tendon all the time, till I bled. When I walked past it, it would just attack me. So I spent, bless you.
Sorry, thank
So I
you.
spent about 2 weeks, just trying to make sure that she was okay.
Aww.
And then she would just come and lay on my chest sometimes
Aw.
after that. She ended up being very sweet. She was always really mean and nobody liked her. But I just wanted to extend an olive branch to her because she went through a lot.
It's nice.
But you came up with, on the spot, you had to come up with both 4 horses and 4 separate personalities, which you don't necessarily have to come up with 4 separate personalities for horses. You could just say, these are horses, right? It didn't help that we do have a druid on the table.
Yeah.
That's a big
Yeah.
fan of saying.
To every
Love that speaking with animal spell. I'll tell you what.
So, when you realized there was a moment I have to not only come up with these horses, but give them each their own personality,
Yep.
was that a task you were excited to do? Because you did it, not to be rude, you did do it to yourself. She could speak to them, but they could have just been horses.
Correct. Let's just say I relied on improv a lot, and it was just in the moment. I gave you 4 horses, different colors, and then I was like, okay, what do these horses do? How do I differentiate them? Because again, having Zalaria makes me have to think about a lot more things than I didn't know I was gonna have to think about. And thank you for that.
So welcome.
I get NPC questions from John, and I get animal questions from Zalaria. And I thought it was a really fun way to add inclusions for characters. I was like, these are characters that are going to travel with you. I don't want them to just be generic. That'd be kind of boring. It'd be like, oh, I've just kind of hand-waved away any sort of fun you could have with these characters just by saying they're horses, they're all generic brown stallions. Do I do this to myself? Yes. But already, as we've seen, these horses have caused a lot of really fun moments in the series. And I am so happy that they are here. Because without them, the standout's always going to be the horse with no name. Just because, 1, the pun is so fun. And 2, just the fact that he's always a blank wall, but the nothingness adds so much.
Yeah, not to get too film technical with it.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of times in a movie where the moment where everything goes silent is perfect for the drama or the comedy or whatever that is. So if one horse is always having a blast, speaking like crazy, one horse is kind of mean.
One horse is nervous
all the time.
all the time.
and then you get stagnation. And one of the things that I appreciate from all of you is there's a lot of times in all types of entertainment, whether that's stage or film, short films, where people believe they have to fill every pause. And I think sometimes that comes with nervousness. And we've had many times where, as a group, we take that moment, there is the pause, and the pause is earned, and it's meaningful for the story. So just a shout out to you guys as players at the table with us, and Austin too.
That includes you.
Letting us,
Yes.
I am there.
Yes.
I'm there sometimes.
You're there all the time.
Every time.
Maybe not mentally. But
Yeah,
I-
we noticed. Just kidding.
You're not supposed to go along with the joke. I make fun of me. You lift me up.
I don't tell you.
Oh man, now my papers is all over the place. I guess this actually is perfect because I wrote. This is the first clause of the sentence I wrote for asking Hannah something. You're an instigator.
Are you talking about my character or me?
What a segue.
Is there a difference?
What a segue.
I think that's what you brought to your character from yourself.
Correct.
You're not wrong. What is your question?
In these two arcs, I personally feel like early on you didn't instigate as much, especially in the first 2 episodes of Arc 1. I think 3 you started to branch out a little bit more. When you heard the description of Drayden's brother, to me that was the switch where you're like, "He's hot," whatever. But to you, do you remember a moment where you decided, this is fun? Like I can jump in and I can be part of a story. I can instigate things to happen or give me a sense of accomplishment and fun in the game.
Right, yeah. So I think in the beginning, just being like such a new player, I was like still kind of nervous and like kind of like seeing like what I can do, I guess, kind of like testing the waters and like also being afraid to like jump in and like derail a thought or like derail a plan or anything like that. So I don't know, after a while of like playing, I kind of got like more used to it, more comfortable, and getting to know all of you guys like kind of like made me like feel more comfortable in general. And I don't know, I kind of was like, okay, I need my character to like have some sort of like quirk, but then I'm also like, she's an extension of me in a way. And so I think the instigating, whatever you want to call it, just kind of like came out naturally when I found so many ways to like just, I don't know, poke fun of the other characters and stuff, and flirt with NPCs. I don't know. It was just me having a good time, okay? She's just living her best life.
Yeah. So it took just a few episodes and knowing us better as people.
Yeah, because I mean, being thrown in at such a new player and like barely knowing you guys last year was like really intimidating for me, because not only am I having to like figure out like just like the group dynamic, but also trying to figure out like a whole new game. Like a very big game too. So it was just like a lot of like me trying to like process everything and just like figure out things. But then as time went on, I got more comfortable, kind of understood D&D a bit more, and wasn't afraid to like make a fool of myself, which happens frequently. So.
That's a big one. That's a big one. I don't know how all of you guys feel about it individually, but for me, I think when I let myself make a fool of myself, it ends up, people don't read it that way. It's like, I feel as though I did something really stupid or out there, or it's going to be strange for people
touching calves. I get it.
But then, but people love calves. You know? I love
they
it.
love
it.
So.
It's like people love calves.
So, like, I have calves personally, and I'm a big fan of calves. But how do you guys feel about that? If there's anything where if I make a fool of myself, does that hold you back, or do you try to lean into it more, especially in the more comedic moments of our show?
We have to lean into it. Like, you can't not lean into it, because then it's not like it'll fall flat. It's also just more fun to be like to add another layer on top, like to keep the bit going, kind of a thing. So yep, sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. Especially coming from the guy who has to do all the voices and have to be all the crazy or serious characters. I think you're dead on, John. It's like you have to, if you don't say yes to it, then there goes an entire avenue of what the party could do, or a moment that you're missing out on. It's improv training. It's just, you have to yes
Exactly.
and if your character goals are different, you yes and, but then you just try to redirect what your character wants. 100%.
And if you go halfway, it will fail. If you go all the way, it will be meaningful. It will do something. It'll either be funny, interesting, whatever it is. So if you do take that pause and you don't go all the way, it's going to make it weird.
Yeah.
So just jump. Always just jump on whatever that instinct is. Go for it 100%. If somebody at the table is like, oh, what? Then now you know not to do it next time. But you're training yourself. You're always training yourself to go for it. It's a muscle. You have to flex it as much as possible.
Agreed.
And because you were talking about it a little bit, John, that you have to go all the way in.
Maybe we cut this one halfway.
I just wanted to talk a little bit about Finn in particular, because I'm gonna finish the whole sentence, because the beginning of it's gonna sound me. Finn's very sheltered. Okay? And Finnan as a character is a very sheltered character. But I think Finnan has an immense amount of wisdom when it comes to us going through magical forests, and we come across a half-destroyed fort castle almost. And Finnan, though he doesn't understand a bunch about the world from my perspective, he's always looking to learn, and he has wisdom through magic. What was the balance like? Because I know that you like to play characters that are a little off-kilter and have a hard time in social situations. What was the balance that makes him still come off with that wisdom from his upbringing, while still being able to not necessarily get what's happening while people are talking about something maybe over his head?
Yeah, it's like a lot of the times I have to wait and then wait longer and then wait longer, because like for the right moment, right? Because like I'll notice these other things are going on if we're looking through the old tower for different things, and I just try to think of like contextually, a lot of the normal things that people are looking for are not the things Finnan would be looking for, because he doesn't have the experience to lean on. He only has like what he's learned from books. So his way of looking at things is most of the time looking past the physical, like looking past what's physically in front of him and just trying to lean on his understanding from the books that he's read.
How difficult is it in a medium where we're going for entertainment? I guess talking about letting there be a pause for yourself and trusting that. How difficult is it to have the patience while people are jumping in and you're seeing new things and people are rolling for perception while you're waiting? How did you have to work hard to find that patience as a player for Finnan? Or was it more, I'm just going to focus on him?
I mean, I think sometimes it's easy to just focus on him and then the right moment comes up, in which case you guys cover all the bases. Austin does a wonderful job in terms of like really keeping track of like what's going on in the room and making sure that he like checks in with the person who hasn't said anything yet. Basically, everybody I feel like will notice like all of us at different times will notice that there's a character who hasn't chosen to insert themselves into the scene yet, even though they're in the scene, in which case we usually decide on instinct to interact with each other. So I will say that it's like, it does require more patience than like anything else I've ever done, because I also have like all these secrets that I'm really excited to like slow release into the narrative, and I'm trying to, I mean, Austin can attest to this, I've literally like had things that I want to share or things that I want to explore, and I like cross out the first 5 ways that you would do it that makes sense and go with like the 6th or the 7th or the 8th thing, and really limit myself with like how I'm able to approach it for very specific reasons, which is like also a fun challenge, because it's like I have to think about it 5 or 6 different ways and then wait for the right moment and then jump in. And
yeah,
so I'm always wondering whether or not it lands. I'm like, oh, like I'm gonna watch this back and be like, what the heck were you doing, dude?
Yeah, so there's always times where you have to be parsing information and understanding what the perfect moment is to release some of that. And Michaela, I know you have a bunch of moments where you know a lot. It's not that you're lying to us or anything,
Withholding
but
information.
especially early on, there's no reason for you to tell us about your personal transgressions or people that you know, or why you have the journey that you're going on. As a performer, what was your mindset when you're learning about Dalen and we're still kind of part of your group and you're meeting us and going on a little bit more of a journey, and you really do want to go to the Mystic Mesa for a very specific reason, and the rest of us are like, we can make money off this because it's on a thing. So, like John was talking about slow rolling, are there moments of that for you too, where you're slow rolling the information, testing the water to see if you can trust us as other players?
Yeah, absolutely. It is interesting from the start of a campaign when, you know, we're all thrown together as a group, as an adventuring party, and we know as the players that we are going to become an adventuring party. But we have to figure out, like, within ourselves and within like the characters, what is the reason why we are sticking with the group. And that was definitely something that I did think of a lot when we started, and having the Dalen thing come up so early, that was definitely an easy thing for me to attach onto, and the fact that we as a group helped him to take the tome. And so that was a moment of like, well, we're all in this together now. Like, this makes sense for Alis to stick with them because we're all headed to the Mystic Mesa to try to find this amulet that may lead to Dalen. So yeah, that definitely was a big reason for her. And then some other reasons too that even at this point in time that we may or may not know about. But you know, but it's fun just to be able to play with those things, and sometimes even to have moments in the campaign, I'm sure we all do, where oh, this is a moment that that won't pay off until later, or here's a comment that I'm gonna make, or that again will be revealed later, and like leaving like little moments, you know, and again going back to the patience and like trusting the story and that it's going to unfold.
When it comes to story, I know for a fact that the Mystic Mesa was not explored as much as it possibly could have been. And you can hand him the mic for this because he's going to be talking for sure.
Yep.
There were quadrants. Actually, what's 6 sextants for the Mystic Mesa?
5 really, because one of them was the entrance you came in on. But
Okay.
yes.
So we explored. I'm gonna say 2.5. It could be. You could say 3. It was more like 2.5.
Yeah.
One thing that I appreciate with you as a GM is you never held that over us, and you also never,
That we know.
or that I don't remember you ever going, "Are you sure you want to leave right now?" We decided we had a mission that we were going to go on to, and you just said yes. Does that ever sting? You've come up with so many different things, maybe combats or interesting puzzles, and you see your players in real time in front of you deciding amongst themselves, we're leaving now. Because as a GM, I've seen you just let us go. How does that feel for you?
Part of it is
Be
like
honest.
Yeah. Part of it is, dang, these are some cool things I wish y'all could have engaged with. But also, on the other hand, to step in the way of what is very clearly an objective and a goal for the group would, I think, be even more of a hindrance than you not getting to see something cool. Because you were right, the moment that you find the letter and you find the scenario that happens on top of the mesa top, you guys were like, we know where we gotta go. We gotta go to Southshore. We gotta go there. And to be like, but on the way, would you like to look at the other 2 things? Maybe?
What things are those?
Good question. So it does sting, but also at the end of the day, 1, I don't know where the story's gonna go. I didn't know y'all were gonna end up in North Shulk so quickly, eventually later on in the line, or South Shulk. Or whenever you guys are gonna get over to Brecht, or whenever you're gonna go over to the Lifted Lake. We don't know when these things happen, or if they ever will happen. So,
About the lake.
with that, what about it?
Forgot about the lake.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys have no idea what those things are.
Yes, they do.
They do not know what the lake is.
It's on the map.
It's on the map.
Okay.
It's on the map. Everything I've said is on the map.
Okay.
Refer to the map, please.
Map's the map.
Okay.
Can we pull the map up right now? Then map up, and then zoom into Lifted Lake on the map, please.
For everybody who follows us on social media, you have seen the map. If you do
Yes.
want to see the map, make sure to follow the TikTok, Instagram,
All the plugs. But we also don't know if the stories are going to call on your group to come back to these areas too. Though you have obviously irreversibly changed the Mystic Mesa due to your actions.
Yes, what if we did
don't
that?
even know how.
We don't even
We don't
know.
even know how. we did that.
Correct, you don't. But you've changed the Mystic Mesa through your actions. And so with that, there could be something that calls you back, or the group's like, all right, we got to do this, or I'll hide something there in the future that means that because you didn't touch this, 20 episodes down the line, this thing has festered, or this thing has grown in power, or this thing has changed, and now it becomes a bigger threat that you could have dealt with earlier on. It is not a missed opportunity from the group. It is simply a future golden ticket for a great story.
And you've already put the time in on it.
Correct.
So if we do go back, you'll be like, I don't have to do as much this week.
Exactly. Or in any city you guys go to, if you guys ever go back to Summit Stadium for some purpose, which I'm sure you'll have to cross through eventually, there are set locations at Summit Stadium.
Yeah.
You know NPCs there, but that also means the city has changed.
I've already decided that I'm going to be the winner of the Summit Stadium games. At some
Are
point.
you gonna fight your brother?
He doesn't stand a chance against me, bro. Hey, you don't
You heard it
stand
here first.
Hey,
Sibling rivalry. What's going on?
hey.
Austin is.
That is quite a face.
Saying nothing. Hey, patience and letting the moment be.
This next bit, everyone jump in when you have one, because it's probably going to be a little bit of a thinker. But with the first 2 arcs that we've done so far, what is your favorite moment? Whether that be when you felt like you were dropped in, and it was comfortable to be in the story, or just the funniest moment, the coolest character moment that you have, however it presents itself to you. What would be your favorite moment?
You and Lyle scene. Before you leave out for the Mystic Mesa, the interactions you and Lionel have, and you having to explain yourself to him, and him having to kind of give you his blessing in a way, which you so very badly wanted. You even wanted the blessing from the rest of your party. I think Drain's a character that, I don't want to say needs affirmation, but wants assurance that he's doing the right thing. And the fact that you got that from your brother, though you have still a relationship with your family, I think that for me, in terms of character moment, in the first arc was like, yeah, we're locked in. So congratulations to you. It was beautifully done.
Thank you. My big bro.
I don't remember what the first 2 arcs are.
Okay, is that good?
We've been talking about this for 30 minutes.
So the end, when we started taking the horses towards South Shulk, we were on that road. That was the end of Arc 2.
Yeah. Summit Stadium and Mystic Mesa were arcs 1 and 2.
Well, I feel like the moments that I'm thinking of are not within those.
Your highlight moments are certainly in Arc 3. Your highlight moments are certainly in Arc 3.
In Arc 3 is what I'm saying.
Hey.
2 tavern keepers become very relevant due to Zalaria in Arc 3, just so you know.
That wasn't just because of me. Was it? Sorry, okay, I need to stop flirting with the camera. I'm done.
What? What? Yeah, I know I'm putting you guys on the spot, but
Yeah,
It's a great question.
It's a great question.
I loved the dream sequence.
Oh yeah, that
The
was
dream
fun.
sequence was really cool because I had no idea where that was gonna go. And it's also just like, yeah, it was just like a cool little thing that was very unexpected, and we all played a different role in that scene too.
yep.
Yeah.
That was the black cat and rabbit
Yep.
Yeah.
Black cat, white hair.
Did I drink the thing?
immediately.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
Immediately.
I can't. I'm sure there was a bunch of other moments, but I'm getting all the arcs mixed up because I have the memory of a goldfish. But I do remember drinking of the potion was really fun for me. Just because it was so impulsive for me, and I didn't know what the repercussions were going to be. I didn't know what was happening to my character, and me not knowing what I was turning into, even though like he described it, basically, I still like had no idea what a tabaxi was.
That is true.
Yeah,
true,
I'm like so
because-
new. I didn't know what a tabaxi was.
Yeah, still,
Yeah.
even now, I can't say that I'm the most seasoned player. I haven't played a whole lot of D&D in my days. So
In
sometimes when
days.
people, when you were talking about...
Yeah.
Oh,
Coulter.
yes.
Yeah. When you said what he was,
Loxodon.
Loxodon, you said Loxodon, and I was like, all right, dude. All right.
I love Lox bagels, baby. Let's go. It's a fish. We got a walking fish.
So that is an interesting thing with the nomenclature,
Mhm.
saying
Yeah.
you're going to turn into a tabaxi. If you have no idea what that means, that doesn't
Well,
help
sorry,
you.
continue. I was gonna say he didn't even tell me it was a tabaxi.
Oh.
He just kind of described it, right? Like I didn't know what it was
You're
for a
becoming a
while.
tabaxi.
Yeah, it was simply that you started growing whiskers and you started
Yes,
getting more
and
fur
the
and your
Byakugan.
tone started getting little ridges on it. So
I had the
Yes.
Byakugan. He was like your vision. You can see all
Mhm.
around you.
Yep.
That's literally the book.
Correct.
Byakugan.
Defensive.
Yes. Yeah, but that was one of my moments. And then also just like I guess like all the moments with Arlen too, right? That was
Nope.
No,
No.
no.
No. That'll be in 2 weeks.
Y'all don't see that.
Memory of a goldfish.
No, we'll
You
see
don't
that.
know who
We
Arlen
did the whole manor with Meira. We got dressed up for that.
The
killed-
banquet.
Banquet.
You killed people.
No, he didn't.
Some of you burned a man to a crisp.
Correct.
Nope. Spaceman.
Why
He
are
burned
you can't
himself
even
to a
point at
crisp,
me.
okay?
He literally blew
He
himself
literally
up.
himself.
Opened up a chest that unleashed a dragon. No one's gonna mention that.
Became a
I
bird.
didn't
was
do
about
that.
to.
I didn't do that.
Became a bird
Became a
to
bird
get
that I
out.
wasn't supposed to be
That
a
you weren't
bird.
supposed to.
Correct.
Be able to get out of a ball of skeletons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
was a bunch. Did you have a moment?
Yeah, I was gonna give honorable mention to the dragon moment.
Honorable mention.
Just because that was the first moment in the campaign where it's like, this is a serious, like, not that other serious things hadn't happened, but that was like
Consequences
a
of your actions.
huge thing that none of us were expecting. You certainly weren't expecting, because it was like all of the rolls had to happen like just right. I think you got a nat 20 to even figure out how to open the box.
Yeah, we rolled real high to press the self-destruct
When
button.
you say we, he means himself.
You literally, you had to do identify or something to find
I
it,
did
didn't
detect magic.
Yeah,
that was
you used
basic.
detect magic
that
to
was
find
like,
it.
beep, beep,
And then
metal detector.
contrast that moment with the fireplace moment. I spent 30 minutes trying to figure out
Just
what
a fireplace,
it was about this
It's a
magical fire
magical
and not
fireplace.
rolling high enough to figure it out. We're like, there has to be something. There's something behind the fireplace. It's
I steered to the fire.
That was actually really fun too. The whole like witness, like coming in on the crime scene
yeah.
of the tabaxi that got poisoned was.
Oh yeah, we were trying to detect the poison and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the magical fire.
Yeah, for me personally, I also feel like the moment when we were in that place and like getting the letter specifically from Dalen, because it's, you know, it's this thing where it's like he's in Aelis's the backstory that I wrote, right? But I don't know anything either. It's like all of that is all lost in what he's creating. So I'm like, what happened? Where did he go? Why did he leave? I don't know. So, and again, that question, that letter just gave more questions than answers, to be honest.
I did love in that letter, we're looking all around this cottage and not really finding anything. So, bored, I said I just sit at the table because I can't actually look for anything. And then I just see Austin's eyes get really wide. He goes, at the table, there is the thing everyone needed to find. There's actually the note. I was like, yo, dude.
Crazy. Out of your boredom. That's crazy.
John, you looked like you had something that you were fixing to talk about.
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna say, it was actually the elk. Drive-by elk.
Yes.
Drive-by elk.
In the episode, so actually in the episode we ended up like not calculating the HP correctly. And when we did the math afterwards, we found out that I was literally 1 HP from instant death. Like, it was 25 damage, I had 17 HP, that's -8. If it had been -9, it would have been completely dead finish.
You wouldn't need a new character.
That would have changed things.
So, that was kind of crazy.
I feel like that, I feel like that episode in general, episode 5, I think.
Yeah.
So it's the first episode of the second arc. I just remember when we sat down to do that episode and just looking back on it too, I felt like we'd had one arc under our belt at that point. We as the characters already knew each other. Being on the road, we got to have a lot of little character moments. So I feel like I look back on the way to the Mystic Mesa like really fondly, just because it's like we're getting to know each other. Our characters are getting to know each other for the first time and beginning to kind of see little character interactions come through, which is really nice.
With that, it doesn't have to have been in Arc 1 or Arc 2, so you can say not applicable. But was there a moment where any of you started to feel as though we were actually a team? In these two arcs.
In these 2 arcs?
There's been moments, I don't know specifically if they were in the first 2 arcs, but maybe...
You're just gonna spoil so much in this.
This is so general. This is so... I'm like, our book just
No,
gonna...
she only remembers last week.
So last week, just kidding. No, like, there's just been times, I don't know specifically about team, but where it felt like we were just, like, all friends within the campaign, where, like, we've had so many, like, good, funny moments with, like, good banter and everything. I'm trying to think of a specific instance, but we've had a lot of those where I'm like, this is so funny, we're actually cracking me up.
I felt like we were really gelling at the Merchant Manor ball. Like, you were on the dance floor and I was on the dance floor with you, and then she was getting information, and then you got approached by somebody. I got approached by someone with a password that I forgot 5 seconds later. Like, we were like the Maxwell Smarts of Merchant Manor, where we were like getting it. key information in completing the mission, but in the most hilarious way. I thought that was a moment where it was like, okay, like we have kind of a plan, and we're gonna do this thing, and that was really fun for me in terms of like the team aspect, selling. And
I feel like the moment when we delivered your brooch to Lionel too.
Oh, yeah.
Not in the way that it happened, but the just the fact that that came about, and that we, like, as a group, even though you weren't there at the time, it kind of as we later, you were playing a nice little poker game, but that was the first thing where it's like, oh, it was a main quest, but it was just like I don't know, it just ended up being a way to connect like different with your backstory too, and with your brother, and then we ended up coming back and bringing you back there too. So that was just a neat moment.
Yeah, what's it called? Audience. When like the audience gets
dramatic irony.
Yeah, dramatic irony. Like we got to
Yes.
The audience got to experience some dramatic irony because we were learning about you without you being in the room, which was very cool. It's just, I think that we touched on a couple of different like ways that you can tell a story, like from these like major, like thematic ways of, I guess, what am I trying to say? How to tell
devices.
Yeah. Which is super cool. Like I totally agree.
From a bird's eye view.
From a
And
child.
it doesn't have to be true, as the crow flies. It doesn't have to be Arc 1 or Arc 2, so you can say no.
Okay.
But was there a moment from the outside looking at us as a group where it seemed like the characters were, if not a team, becoming a team?
I think the way to the Mystic Mesa started, I think Michaela's right in that the bond started being formed there of like, okay, away from the city, away from all these activities, you just get to talk and get to know each other. So that was the first time I saw y'all becoming friends. As of becoming a team, I think it really gets solidified in Arc 3 with one specific day where just immediately two of you are on the same page and the other two start going along and off we go. That's the most surprising when the next interview happens. That'll be my most surprising moment of that episode. But I think the way to Mystic Mesa, and then how I think the group discussion about the dragon. I think the group discussion of like, what did we just do? And the fact that it was, what did we just do? Not that there wasn't a blame game. I think I mean,
hold on, I've been blamed so much
outside of the game.
The players,
Justice
the
for
players have blamed. The characters have
The
not.
characters have not blamed Finnan. The players have.
out loud.
But yeah, the characters.
If it was gonna be you, it was gonna be me. Let's be real.
The fact that the characters were like, we just did this. What do we do? Excuse me. What do we do next? Whenever that was the mindset of what was happening, that's what I was like, all right. They believe themselves as a party that they are an adventuring party. When there is no blame on one person messing up, it is, how are we going to fix this as a team?
Yeah, Lenog.
Let's go. And before we sign off, I just wanted to ask all of you, do you have anything to say to the audience out there, to the people who have been watching us, rocking with us on social media, in these episodes themselves? Is there anything you want to say to them before we go? You don't have to, but...
I have one thing. So, at the end of Arc 2, I went to go do Romeo and Juliet as a play.
At the end of Arc 1.
At the end of Arc 1. See, I even forget when the arc it was. If certain character descriptions change,
Oh, no.
don't worry about it. Roll with it. I love you.
What
Use
does
your
Charles
imagination.
say? Can you tell me what Charles says?
Yep.
That's me!
Okay, anyway.
What do we want to say, guys? Stick around, because this campaign is cooking.
Oh, yeah.
Like, really, really cooking. Like, some crazy stuff has happened. It's
yeah.
turned up to the 11th degree and doesn't, I don't know.
What?
It's like foot on the gas and we don't let
Opposite
it.
breaks.
Foot on the brake right after we put
Right
it on the
after
gas.
we just maybe just like a big ol' thank you, I guess, for watching and like sticking around this long.
That part.
We appreciate that. Thank you for your support.
Yeah, it means a lot, because we are a newer D&D group, and at this point in time, only I think not even all of Arc 2 has come out when we were recording this. But obviously we're way more in the future. But the fact that there are people who are engaging with our with the actual episodes on YouTube and Spotify, and that commenting and engaging with us on social media, it means so much to have people connecting with the story that we're telling, and also like sharing your D&D stories. It's really shown me what an incredible community D&D and like the TTRPG world is. Like it's just such a fantastic community. So thanks for all of your support, and we hope you keep watching and enjoying the show.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for sitting down with me.
Thank you, Justin.
Talking a little bit about your characters, about the show itself. That's going to be it for the throes of the after show. Guys, thank you so much for joining us, meeting these lovely folks, and knowing more about their characters, their thought process going into the arcs that you guys have hopefully enjoyed up to this point. We will see you guys again every time we finish an arc, so stay with us through all that, and have a great afternoon, morning, night, wherever you are, and we will see you guys next time.
Bye.